within a series of posts on X that began with a call for the release of political activist Tommy Robinson. Robinson defied a court order when he repeated the accusations in a documentary now banned in Britain.
Tommy Robinson's health is deteriorating rapidly in prison, and the consequences could be far-reaching. Visitors describe a man who's lost weight, energy, and his usual fiery presence. But as his physical strength wanes, his influence seems to be growing. What's really happening behind the walls of HMP Woodhill? And why is Elon Musk now involved in this controversial case? The answers might surprise you. And they're raising serious questions about free speech and political imprisonment in the UK. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Behind the walls of HMP Woodhill.
Within a series of posts on X that began with a call for the release of political activist Tommy Robinson.
I know what's gone on previously in my previous prison sentences. I wrote a letter to my wife, and it was a detailing letter. So I detailed to my wife that it's not about them. It's not about our children. It's about every child.
A troubling tale is unfolding. Recent visitors to Tommy Robinson have painted a picture that's far from the rosy image prison officials would have us believe. The man they encountered was a shadow of his former self, sparking serious concerns about his health and treatment. When Aya Fogg and Michael Hansen stepped into the visiting room, they were shocked by what they saw. Robinson, once known for his robust presence, appeared gaunt and frail. His face, once full of vigour, now looked sunken and drawn. The weight loss was dramatic, leaving him looking like a shell of the man who entered the prison gates. But it wasn't just his physical appearance that raised alarm bells. The visitors noted a marked change in his demeanour. Gone was the fiery energy that had made Robinson a controversial, yet compelling figure. In its place was a man who seemed defeated, his voice lacking its usual strength and conviction.
His post on X, Free Tommy Robinson, has sparked larger conversations, largely within conservative circles.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. And what are you telling them?
That I know by doing what I do that that moment will come. And
the stark contrast between these eyewitness accounts and the official line from prison authorities is jarring. While the staff claim to be professional and friendly, treating Robinson with all due care, the evidence suggests a different reality. It's hard to reconcile the image of a well-treated prisoner with the man described by those who've seen him firsthand. This discrepancy raises uncomfortable questions about what's really happening behind those prison walls. But it's not just Robinson's physical state that's cause for concern. His current situation, 23 hours a day in solitary confinement, is a recipe for mental anguish. Medical experts have long warned about the severe psychological toll of prolonged isolation. For Robinson, this isn't a new experience. During his previous stint in prison, he described solitary confinement as mental torture. Are we witnessing history repeat itself, with potentially even more dire consequences? The rapid weight loss observed by visitors is particularly worrying. Medical professionals have highlighted the risks associated with such dramatic physical changes, especially when combined with the stress of isolation.
Robinson defied a court order when he repeated the accusations in a documentary now banned in Britain.
A letter to your wife from prison. What did you say?
to make sure they understood why I do what I do. I'm getting moved. So I said to my wife, I'm getting moved, but nothing from the outcry outside.
It's a potent cocktail that could lead to serious health complications if left unchecked. Robinson's previous experiences in prison add another layer of complexity to the situation. His expressed fears of being poisoned and distrust of prison food have likely contributed to his current state. It's a vicious cycle, fear leading to poor nutrition, which in turn exacerbates both physical and mental decline. Aya Fogg's stark assessment leaves little room for interpretation. Tommy Robinson is not well. He's lost weight and doesn't look like himself. These words, coming from someone who's seen him firsthand, should serve as a wake-up call to those responsible for his care.
A documentary reposted by Elon Musk with a centralized theme of what Robinson describes as a weaponized government.
It's not till now I just go, why do we trust them? Of course we shouldn't trust the people in charge. That's how they're in charge. People in charge were breaking the rules, having these parties in their lovely garden.
As Tommy Robinson's physical presence fades within the confines of HMP Woodhill, his influence seems to be expanding beyond the prison walls. The man who's spent countless hours in solitary confinement has suddenly become the centre of a global debate, thanks to an unlikely ally with deep pockets and a massive online following. Enter Elon Musk, the tech billionaire and self-proclaimed free speech absolutist. With a few keystrokes, Musk has catapulted Robinson's case from a local UK controversy to an international talking point. His tweets, including the simple yet potent phrase, "Free Tommy Robinson," have reached millions, igniting fierce discussions from London to Los Angeles.
Confinement prison for telling the truth. He should be freed, and those who covered up this travesty should take his place in that cell.
It's me believing that the worst will come.
That you will die in jail.
The worst will come, and I want my children to know that no one can tell me. So I know intentionally, and previously I've been locked in rooms with Muslims in prison.
But why would one of the world's richest men take an interest in a controversial UK figure? Critics argue that Musk's involvement is misguided, claiming he lacks a nuanced understanding of Robinson's complex legal situation. They worry that Musk's massive platform could oversimplify a multifaceted issue, potentially misleading his followers. On the other hand, Robinson's supporters are jubilant. They see Musk's interest as validation of their concerns about free speech and government overreach. To them, Musk isn't just tweeting, he's shining a spotlight on what they perceive as a grave injustice. And let's be honest, when Elon Musk speaks, the world tends to listen. The impact of Musk's involvement can't be overstated. What was once a story confined to British newspapers and niche political circles has now become fodder for global media outlets. The irony is palpable. In trying to silence Robinson, the UK government may have inadvertently amplified his message to an unprecedented degree. Reports suggest that Robinson's support base has grown significantly since his imprisonment. His followers, emboldened by Musk's attention, have become more vocal and organised.
You know, in the news now, you know, with these parties that the government...
What I believe they're going to do, and that I know no one can tell me why I was brought to that prison only.
They are no longer just a fringe group easily dismissed by mainstream media. They're now part of a larger conversation about the limits of free speech and the role of government in policing expression. As the story gains traction, the UK government finds itself in an increasingly uncomfortable position. The pressure is mounting from all sides. Do they stand firm on their decision, risking further backlash and international scrutiny? Or do they bow to public pressure, potentially setting a precedent they might later regret? The situation serves as a stark reminder of the power of social media in shaping public discourse. A single tweet from a high-profile figure like Musk can shift the narrative in ways that traditional media outlets could never achieve. It's a double-edged sword. While it can bring attention to important issues, it also runs the risk of oversimplifying complex matters. Tommy Robinson's case has become a lightning rod for free speech debates in the UK. As his health reportedly deteriorates behind bars, his cause gains momentum outside. The government's attempt to silence Robinson seems to have backfired spectacularly, transforming him into a symbol for those who feel their voices are being suppressed. Critics argue that Robinson's imprisonment is politically motivated, a heavy-handed effort to quash dissenting opinions. It's a strategy that history suggests often leads to unintended consequences. Just as past political prisoners have seen their support swell, Robinson's incarceration appears to be amplifying his message rather than muffling it. The upcoming legal proceedings could be a pivotal moment. With additional charges potentially on the horizon, public perception hangs in the balance. Will these new developments further galvanise Robinson's supporters, or will they shift the narrative? One thing's certain, the world is watching. The outcome of this case could reverberate far beyond Britain's shores, setting precedents for civil liberties and free speech in democratic societies.